Scott, thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave.
I want to start today with your giving us a brief overview of the history of the company.
Sure. So the Lumina Group was founded way back in 2003. We've worked on a variety of public companies, but on this one specifically, we've been in Ecuador since 2014, working there, and the Cangrejos project has grown a lot during that time period. So, we've been drilling since about 2015, and we've taken it really from having zero resources to over 17 million ounces these days.
In November of 2019, the company released a mineral resource summary indicating that Cangrejos, the deposit there, has over 1.2 billion pounds of contained copper. What's the expected lifetime of this project, and how many other minerals are in this deposit?
Yeah, so the copper is actually the byproduct, believe it or not. So that was the indicated copper. There's also inferred copper. So there's about over 2 billion pounds of copper at the deposit and about 17 million ounces of gold. So it's about 80% gold, 20% copper. And it's about the 38th largest primary gold deposit in the world right now.
What are some of the corporate milestones investors can expect in 2020?
Yeah, the biggest one, Dave, is going to be the refresh of the economic study that's going to come out here in May or June of this year. And that's really going to take that new big resource and put a new mine plan in it, as well as a bunch of other efficiency improvements we've made over the last 2 years. So that'll show, even more improved economics than the already fairly robust study we put out in 2018.
You recently raised $9 million. How will you deploy that capital?
Yeah, so that's going to go into the study and all the engineering work we're doing that'll come out middle of the year. And the group's history is really to de-risk these projects and then look to sell them to major companies because they're quite large projects. So that'll be the game plan here for 2020.
Tell us a little bit about your management team and your board of directors, particularly their past successes in the mining industry.
Sure. So our CEO, Marshall Koval, he has a consulting background and used to be the president of Pincock Allen Holt. Did lots of mining due diligence studies for banks and different financing groups. Our head geologist, Leo Hathaway, who's been with the group as long as Marshall has, coming up on 20 years now. He's used to work at Inmet and has worked across all our public companies. So the group sold about 7 public companies over that time period, and right now we have 3 current public companies in the group, 2 focused in Ecuador and 1 focused in Finland. And the board of directors, equal levels of experience, if not more in some cases. And the group's really underpinned by our founder, Ross Beatty, who holds 20% of Lumina and, took a big portion of the financing you mentioned there in December for the $5 million of the $9 million that we raised.
Now, Lumina Gold Corp is committed to the sustainable development of mining projects. You have a lot on your website about your corporate and social responsibilities. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So, our deposit, there's no communities directly on the deposit, but, the nearest town is approximately 7 kilometers away. We think it's pretty important, obviously, to have good relationships with the community right out of the gate, even when you're in the early stages of developing a project. So we work with them on community projects, greenhouse initiatives, reforestation, a variety of different things, as well as providing a lot of jobs for the local community. So building that social license, building that support early with these type of projects is very important. And then when it comes to the project itself, we're looking at a lot of ways to reduce the impact, things like dry stack tailings facilities instead of conventional tailings facilities, and a variety of things really to make the project, as low impact as possible.
To recap, what's the essential value proposition for investors today? Why should they take an interest today in your stock?
Yeah, it's an emerging mining market in Ecuador. A lot of positive changes there over the last 5 years. We now got 2 big scale mines producing there. You've got a massive gold deposit that we have here in Cangrejos that we're driving towards development. And we really think that a major gold company is going to look to acquire this type of project in the near term. So, I think that all those things will help drive the value forward.
Scott, thanks for being with us today. It's a great story.
Yeah, thanks for having us.